Welcome back to the Amberdata Podcast, where we explore the people, products, and protocols shaping the digital asset ecosystem. I'm so excited to be joined by Jill Gao, who's a product manager at FalconX. Jill has spent nearly a decade in traditional finance, including 7 years at Morgan Stanley, and now leads product at one of the most forward-thinking digital asset platforms in this space. We're going to go through her journey, how FalconX is reimagining institutional access to crypto, and what the future holds for trading tools like Marketsbot. Jill, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Izzie. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So to start off, could you walk us through your career trajectory from your early work in risk and derivatives and then your current role? How did you get into crypto?
Yeah, like similar to many folks in the crypto trading space, I had a traditional finance background. I started my career as a risk analyst at Morgan Stanley, which is a large institution, but I was one of the first hires on the liquidity risk team. So even though I was working in a large organization, I was lucky enough to be in a pretty entrepreneurial environment. I had the opportunity to work directly with our global treasury, our global head of risk, to build things from scratch, including like the risk frameworks, the data pipeline, and the reporting infrastructure. So looking back, it's almost like a mini PM job because I was like,
Totally. You're in the
oh,
grounds. Yeah, you're laying the groundwork. That's
I
where
know, I
I feel
know.
like
It's
it's
just
big. And
funny, like to
yeah,
see how the dots are connected
totally.
back. And I was in that role for 2 years, and then I realized it was a little ad hoc for my preference. I learned a lot of things really interesting, but I really like making decisions and making informed decisions. So trading just seemed a better fit for my personality. So I moved to the equity derivatives trading space. And again, I feel like I lucked out because it's also a pretty entrepreneurial environment, just considering like, compared to other roles on the
Sure.
trading floor. I was trading a fairly new market. So I had the opportunity to define the terms and structures of the product. And I had to educate the market. I had to find the potential buyers and sellers in the markets to build out the market structure. And then I was also working with vendors to build out the trading applications
Wow.
that for other players in the industry as well, because it's a new market. It was pretty manual workflow for everyone.
Hmm.
And I was working with vendors to build applications that other people can use. And little did I know that I was working directly with the product managers at the fintech companies or the vendors.
Right.
So just funny that, and because of the toolings that we're able to build for the industry, while I was at the seat, I was able to grow our trading book, from like a couple billion to like 20, 30 billion in a
It's
few years.
amazing. I'd call that a good return. Yeah.
Yeah, so the business stabilized a little bit, and then I was looking for something new because I just get bored
Sure.
easily. And I started building out our sector index business. So I had our main index that's making money, like S&P 500, NASDAQ, or Russell. So I was trading that book. And then I was trying to see opportunities to, like a smaller markets, if we can scale that markets. And then after that, I was trading our cross assets ETF book. So ETFs that has commodities as on the layer. So like a gold ETFs, fixed income
Right.
ETF, oil ETFs, for example. Um, and then after a few years, I just felt like I tried out all the new opportunities in that space. And then I was looking for something that's more challenging, more intellectually challenging. And more importantly, I realized that in the longer term or medium term, maybe, that I wanted to start my own company.
Awesome.
And it just feels like the trading skill sets are a little narrow for that. So I just started exploring other career paths and opportunities that will give me the skill sets that get me ready for that kind of the future aspect or aspiration of my life. And then I landed in product management because as I learned, the PMs are really like mini CEOs for your product.
Definitely.
You really
Absolutely.
need to understand all aspects of your product in order for it to be successful. And for my business line at FalconX, it could mean like I need to understand the legal terms, the compliance, the regulatory aspects, the go-to-market, the marketing and sales aspects. And it is really interesting. And I was very excited by the prospects of learning all the skill sets. And and with FalconX, it's almost like an instant hit. I think we're both pretty lucky to find each other. Literally 3 months into my kind of job searching of product management roles, I found this opportunity. And, you know, the FalconX just started incubating the derivatives business. So they value my knowledge of derivatives in general, the trading business, and also like the institutional client base, which I traded with already. And then they gave me the opportunity to learn something new that I've never done before. That's building new products or building new business. And what I liked about FalconX back then was, I was a little nervous about joining crypto and also a smaller company compared to Morgan Stanley. It's risky, it's more volatile. But what I like about FalconX back then was that the way it thinks about risk management and cash flow management is very mature for like a company at that stage. That gave me a lot of assurance. And then overall, just great people, very entrepreneurial environment, and I had a lot of autonomy and responsibility in the very beginning. So yeah, it's been a fun journey to grow as a company.
I mean, a great journey. And I think that sort of entrepreneurial drive that you have is so common, I think, in how we see that move from TradFi to crypto. It's a lot of us who do get bored with the status quo and want to be building something new and challenging ourselves every step of the way. So what were some of the biggest differences you noticed from TradFi into your move into crypto?
I honestly expect a lot of things because it's a very conscious decision for me. Like I expected
Spoken like a true product manager, honestly. You went through all of your points and you made an informed decision.
Yeah, exactly, which I love, making decisions. It's the autonomy, the lot of responsibility in the beginning. So that's all expected. And I expected chaos and juggling through different things. But I would say I was still surprised by the excitement in the industry, meaning
Yeah.
there's so much curiosity, so much innovations in the industry. I think I was kind of still like, shocked by that. And it just feels like every day, every week, I was learning something new. I think that was still like a nice surprise to me. Um, and then the other aspect is the pace of not just the work, but also the decision making.
Mm,
Um, because it's still a pretty narrative driven industry, so there are a lot of like thoughts and opportunities. People want to do different things. The other day I was listening to the podcast, even like a blog horse was thinking about offering staking service, and they're a media company.
right.
But because everything's still like shaping up, so I just the pace of like pivoting and coming up with new products, it's quite incredible.
It is incredible. I mean, the growth has been amazing. I also think the attitude in this industry, we had years where everything seemed to be going wrong and yet there was so much building going on and excitement and there still is. I think we've kept up that mindset to now. And so, okay, let's get into FalconX more because obviously we work very closely with you and it's been such an exciting year for your team. Um, I mean, just for our listeners, I'm sure our listeners know who FalconX is, but you're the choice execution partner for hundreds of institutions. I believe you're the only crypto native swaps dealer registered with the CFTC. Um,
Yes.
and then under the hood, you've built this really powerful infrastructure. And one of the most interesting innovations is Marketsbot, which is an analytics tool that you oversee and you've built. I've seen this completely be popping off lately on X, all over social media. How did this idea come about?
And together with Amberdata, I have to mention that, thanks to the
Yeah,
partnerships.
of course.
Um, working on the trading floor, you really seen a lot of these innovative ideas just coming directly from traders in the beginning because they have the mindset of how do I serve clients better? How do I, and make more money, right? So
Exactly.
that involves providing faster pricing to clients, provides better pricing to clients, and making better hedging decisions. And in a trading environment, things are very fast moving, and oftentimes you juggle between different screens, you look at different information, and that slows things down, right? And most of our crypto native clients are on Telegram, and the trading decisions are made or communicating on Telegram. So they were just thinking, if I have access to the data and analytics in the same screen, the same environment, that will make my decision making much faster, right? So let me look at the historical wall, and then I can decide, oh, okay, I'm short vol. Do I want to cover my positions or do I want to keep this risk because we think the vol is going to go lower, right? So all of these quick decision makings are very important for the traders. So it started with kind of the trader playing with ideas, and nowadays everyone can program a little bit. So they kind of played with Amberdata's API, created these prototypes that they were using for themselves. And then later on, sales were using the same analysts to like develop the trade pitch and the trade ideas for clients. And yeah, that's how the idea came out. It's really, just thinking about like how to improve the trading workflow and how to serve the clients better.
So then how exactly does it work?
So you literally go on Telegram, you search that like the handle, and then you can start chatting with them. Just like texting, you just say, "Oh, I want to look at the wall surface," and then it just give you a nice little chart. I want to look at the perps funding rate. It gives you a nice little like historical chart. We can look at the last few hours. Like there are a lot of different functions I just play with, and people can play with it.
And so then this was an internal tool that you then opened up to clients. How did you decide to do that?
We're thinking this is already adding value to clients in the sense that like, we're able to do our jobs better. We're able to like come up with better trade ideas for clients. And then, a lot of clients, why not just give it directly to them so that they can improve their trading workflows, If they come up with trading ideas, they will trade with us, not other people, because they're already kind of in our ecosystem, interacting with our toolings and interacting with the people. So we started offering to our existing clients, and people loved it. People are like, I love this file. Like it's so easy, like querying the data and the analysis. Um, and we're definitely seeing that clients use it and also ask us questions and coming up with trade ideas together and executing the trade ideas. So you see, this is the value chain, right? Like come up with trade ideas and then executing with us, and then we make money from the trading business.
I mean, obviously at Amberdata, we've worked very closely with you guys on this. We're providing the data infrastructure for this. And we've been so excited to see our derivatives data used in these real-time insights on Telegram. Is Telegram the future of trading decisions?
Um, for crypto natives for now,
Yeah.
obviously when the more like a larger institutional and traditional finance come in, that's probably a different world. But in the past few years, we are mainly growing our business in the crypto native space, and all the communities on Telegram, again, all the kind of the trading like the conversations and also the decision makers are on Telegram. So it is the most intuitive interface for our clients. That's why we chose the Telegram. And but in the future, I think there are other platforms that we're hoping to offer the similar analytics tool to maybe more TradFi clients and obviously partner with Amberdata.
That's very exciting and kind of goes into my next question, which is what's next for Marketsbot, right? Are there plans to integrate new features or, what's the trajectory here?
I should follow up again with the team. I started talking to Taylor, which is the sales at Amberdata, about this idea that we actually have an AI analytics platform, FalconX as well. It's called Focal. Um, I would say the client base is more like traditional finance clients. We have a lot of fund managers on there compared to crypto native clients on Telegram. And a lot of clients are also saying that it would be nice to be able to just easily query the analysis data through that platform. So I think the next thing, it will be great if we can all offer like a similar features on that Focal platform. And then the next thing I would like to do is integrate the Focal's AI capability analytics into Telegram. So it's kind of like you are talking to each other. It's hard to have clients change their behaviors to use the same platforms, but I think all the features or the applications we build in different platforms can talk to each other, and we just import the features, from the Focal to Telegram or from Telegram to Focal, and that serves both communities better.
So then how do you balance the difference between your crypto native clients and your traditional finance clients?
Um, Everyone needs to be served. Um, yeah, I think, there gotta be a lot of, the trading capability, the trading service are shared across all clients. We'll continue to provide, really good execution, good pricing, fast pricing. And I think it just means that we'll have kind of additional resource to build features and add values to different segments of our clients in a different platform and see things how things shake out. And maybe it's possible that as the markets grow bigger and everyone will kind of converge to the same platforms, but for now, I think we have to, and I think it's necessary to continue to build things to serve clients in their native environment.
Definitely. And so let's zoom out a bit and talk about that broadening market and those trends. So obviously FalconX is at the intersection of institutional demand, regulation, and also the innovation that you guys are doing. And I think you especially have such a unique lens into how this market is evolving and has evolved, especially having had your background at Morgan Stanley. So what's the institutional appetite for crypto derivatives today compared to a year ago, let's say?
Okay, the simple answer is a growing appetite.
Well, that's what we like to hear, but let's dive in.
Yeah. So even our OTC derivatives business, we're seeing like a 5x year-over-year
Wow.
growth.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, growing appetite is a simple answer. Um, and I think I would say even just more appetite from like traditional finance, large institutions. Um, we've talked about like them coming to the market for a long time, and now we're seeing obviously with the ETF, it's easy for them to enter this space with ETF, but we're actually seeing more inbound inquiries from these clients asking us, oh, how do we trade crypto like options 24/7? Because with IBIT options, right, it's only market hours. We spent years chasing after these clients and they were not ready, but this is the first time this year that I'm having inbound inquiries, and which is very exciting. Um, and I think there are also rather than institution, but a lot of retail brokers are also interested in offering 24/7 option trading to their retail client base. So we're having conversations with these retail brokers and to for us is to access the liquidity of the retail space. But I think even on the liquidity provider side, we're the best positioned player to provide liquidity. We have the best, the derivatives risk management system, trading infrastructure to provide option liquidity to these clients. Um, and I would say the other trend that I'm seeing is more crypto native funds and venture cap funds are more comfortable about using derivatives to manage their risk, right? They have a lot of locked tokens on their balance, sitting on their balance sheet. They're actually able to hedge either with, buying options with us, or even just generating additional yields by like lending things to us or like selling cover the cost to get additional yields. Um, it's good. We spent years educating this market, so we're definitely seeing the fruits now that like more players understand derivatives and know how to use derivatives as a risk hedging.
They're comfortable with it, right?
With
That's a huge sign, definitely.
We're seeing a growth in the venture capital space. We're also seeing growth in the corporate treasury space. Not just buying tokens, but also generating additional yields on their tokens, right? With derivatives,
Yeah.
the selling the cover calls is a very popular strategy. Even in TradFi, like a lot of people are back um, in COVID, a lot of people are doing like cover call on Tesla. And we're educating the corporate treasurers market in crypto space that using derivatives, you can actually generate more yields. So it's good to see that the players diversify in the institutional space because historically we have a lot of discretionary hedge funds. Now we're having venture capital. Now we're having corporate treasuries and the retail brokers. Um, yeah, I'm honestly very positive and very excited about this growth.
I mean, it's very exciting. And it's also just such a great indicator that the industry is maturing to a point that the risks are, not as great as before. I think the education that you mentioned is a huge aspect of this. Like 3 years ago, people just really didn't understand how the technology worked, let alone how these markets were moving and how to safely capitalize off of them. So to see that shift over the past year is, like you said, very encouraging.
Yeah.
With your background in equity swaps, how do you see crypto derivatives evolving to either mirror TradFi more or really diverge?
I would say majority, it's mirroring, and I think a lot of people share the same ideas. And even I was listening to the podcast yesterday. Some other guests were mentioning, like, everyone in this crypto space or crypto trading space should learn or read about the financial industry history, like
100%.
why brokerages and exchange are separated typically, and why derivatives are multiples or spot, for example. So it's definitely evolving in a similar way in terms of market structure. And but there's certain things that are kind of like a new in the crypto space that I'm also learning, and I'm kind of like watching. For example, the CFTC kind of had an announcement that, oh, there's actually getting feedback from the industry people on the perpetual futures. So it is a great, innovative product that kind of like originated in the crypto space. Very simpler pricing, no maturity date, very easy to trade, 24/7, and wouldn't have that in the traditional finance space, at least in the US. We'll have something similar called like a CFD in the FX space in like Japan and Middle East, but that's new to US. And that's something, we're kind of building out and just getting ready for the opportunity. And then once the legislation change, I think we'll be ready to offer like similar products to our US client base. So yeah, I would say just mostly mirror, but there are innovations, obviously a lot of innovations in the crypto space.
So then with these innovations, are you seeing that crypto innovations are actually having an effect on how TradFi is operating and how they're, running their processes and teams, or is it still more of TradFi affecting how crypto is growing?
I think the market structure, we're learning a lot from TradFi. And it's not, I feel that, innovation is a little hard to touch the TradFi space, it's just
Sure.
because of regulation and how slow things move there. But I think, FalconX actually has a very unique position of connecting these
Mm,
space. For example, we have the blockchain capability to, integrate with a DeFi, for example. And we're also a regulated entity, so we have the capability of offering regulated product on a bilateral basis to the traditional like finance institutions. So I would say, yeah, it's more like the other way. The innovation is impacting the institution not in a direct way, but kind of through like a player like FalconX. And
definitely through your through your products, definitely. And so then let's talk about regulation. Obviously, this has been a massive theme for years, but especially this year as we're seeing new bills come into the House and Senate in the US. Are you seeing more clarity from a product and go-to-market perspective, or what work needs to be done first, if not?
I think we're seeing more excitement for sure because people had the government has a desire to provide more clarity to the industry. The stable coin right now is only on payment, right? It's not interest bearing, but just the trend it's moving towards gave us a lot of confidence of building things in the US specifically as a US based company. So one area I just mentioned, which is a perps market. I think seems like the industry players are pretty confident that we'll get over the line. So I think that's one area we're closely watching and just getting ready to offer that product in the US. Um, and then the other thing, obviously, with Circle's IPO, everyone's looking at the stable coins and the yield bearing tokenized assets. We, I would like us, even within our company to start a stablecoin and working group just to look across our business line and see how we can integrate with that ecosystem better. Because, from trading perspective, it's pretty important aspect of adding value to clients kind of in the trading process because clients need to post margin for derivatives or even in the lending and borrowing business, just having a yield bearing collateral, it's important for the crypto space. So I am I've been doing a lot of research on stable coins and I see like, what kind of opportunities we have in that space. And not many people know that we actually have an FX business in FalconX. So we're already providing liquidity to our like on-ramp, off-ramp, and even the on-chain cross-currency stablecoin conversion, which is a necessary aspect of providing the cross-border payment. So we're pretty integrated in that space already. We'll just kind of continue to explore in the stablecoin area how we can, add value to that ecosystem more.
I mean, I think that the Circle IPO has showed us all that, obviously stablecoins has been the way we're really measuring how the crypto economy is growing, how markets are moving. But I think definitely the stablecoins are, at least the regulations I'm most excited to watch and most excited to see how that encourages the space to grow. My last question for you is sort of a hot take question, but what's your hot take on what digital asset infrastructure needs today, or what's missing, or what's not necessary?
Mm. Infrastructure is a pretty big topic. I think I can provide some perspective on the market structure because that's more
Sure.
relevant to the business that I am in. And a few things that I'm kind of like either working on or researching on. It's number one is the integration with the stablecoin ecosystem, which is very natural for the trading business. There's more value for our clients and is more capital efficient way for clients to trade. I think just being able to provide that stablecoin service, integrate stablecoin in our clients trading experience will help grow our trading business. And number two is the DeFi integration, just being that bridge of the most forefront innovation to our institutional clients and the TradFi clients. I think will strengthen FalconX leadership in this crypto trading space. And the third thing is I think the options are still not acceptable. Crypto options are still not accessible to a lot of players in the US. As I mentioned, the retail broker. We are talking to a lot of these distribution partners. Everyone's very excited about offering similar products to their clients, but distribution is pretty complicated, so they don't necessarily have the capability of, hedging the risk themselves. So I think that's an area where we're very well positioned and I think I'm actually working on something which I can't talk too much about, but very exciting. I think we'll make some new announcements soon in that space. And then I think the last aspect, which I'm very excited about, is the treasury management piece, because there are a lot of cash sitting on the company's balance sheet. And even not just crypto native companies, but even like public companies like Apple. And there are a lot of yield opportunities in crypto, but it's not easily accessible to these companies because of blockchain, kind of the infrastructure. I think we're already kind of providing structuring products to offer these to these companies so they can generate yields. And I think there's opportunity for us to partner even with maybe asset management company just to develop these yield products and just selling the bearing products directly to these companies. I think it's a huge market.
I mean, huge markets is really the theme of this conversation. Jill, thank you so much for all these awesome insights. Very excited to keep an eye out for some recent, some announcements that will be coming soon. So all of our listeners should follow FalconX. And Jill, do you have any socials that you can plug here so people can follow along with what you're doing?
People can follow me on LinkedIn. I share some of my thoughts on the industry on LinkedIn, so happy to connect there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Such a pleasure to talk about just the intersection of institutional finance, the growth of crypto, and Marketsbot. So thank you.
Yep. And we'll have new features with Amberdata soon, I'm sure.
We definitely will. We always will.